You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. Well, the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra concert season has officially kicked off. Over the weekend, nearly 1,900 people packed the Centennial Concert Hall to witness the world-renowned James Ennis back alongside his hometown band in Saturday's opening night concert. There's always something special about the start of the performing year, and to chat more about it and some other big, exciting news, I'm joined by WSO trombonist Keith Dyrda. Welcome back to Classic 107, Keith.
Hi, Simon. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. First off, how did it feel to be back on stage at the Centennial Concert Hall with all your colleagues in the WSO?
So good. Yeah, so good to be back at it and to have a new season start. And after a long summer's break, it's great to be back making music and, back with all my great colleagues.
It sounded so good, too, led by Maestro Daniel Reiskin. Lovely to hear some Elfrida Andrea in person and then bask in the remarkable skill of James Ennis as both violin and viola soloist. Yeah. That was just something else, wasn't it? Like, as a musician up on stage, sharing the stage with him, you just kind of, like, do you find yourself almost like putting your instrument down and being like, what is going on here?
Totally. Well, actually, there's no trombones in the Brahms
That's
concerto.
true. Yeah, you got to embrace that.
I got to go out to the hall and listen in the rehearsals and even in the performance. And yeah, I mean, it's mind-boggling what James does, and he's such a fantastic musician. So yeah.
Well, there was no trombones in the Brahms concerto, but there was trombone in Harold in Italy, and it was such a wonderful trip. Gotta love a little bit of Berlioz brass, and you guys certainly brought it, especially in that final movement, the Orgy of the Brigands. I think it would have made Berlioz proud. He liked the instrument from what I've read. So
totally, yeah.
Props. You guys really brought the drama there. It sounded fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, Berlioz is so much fun to play in the brass section. It's so brilliant. And even we were saying there's some nice little sort of brass chorales that you don't typically see in Berlioz's music in this piece. So it was wonderful to play.
Yeah, what a start to the season. Let's talk a little bit more about you and your instrument, though.
Sure.
Last week, the press release came out that you'll be returning to the celebrated ensemble Canadian Brass.
Yeah.
Big congrats, Keith. How's it feel?
Thank you very much. I'm so excited. Yeah, it's obviously a massive honor to be included in this ensemble, and to be able to do it twice in my life feels really, really special. So I'm really excited to get started.
Celebrated ensemble that is indeed formed back in 1970 in Toronto, dubbed one of the most popular brass ensembles in the world. You just alluded to this. You joined the ensemble back in 2010. You replaced founding trombonist Gene Watts. And at the time, you were a student at McGill, which is just wild. You were what, like 21 or something
21,
at the time?
Yeah, it was during my last year at McGill there in my undergrad degree.
What do you remember about being a university student playing in CB at the time?
Well, it was all a lot to take in, as you could probably imagine. As I said, I was still doing school, so my professors were quite lenient with me, and I think I was gifted my chamber music credits that year for I didn't have to play in a McGill ensemble that year, but so it was there was a lot going on for sure during that year. But what I recall is just having an amazing time playing with those musicians, and we got to record a Juno nominated album, Brahms on Brass, which is still one of the favorite things I've ever done. So. I'm just so excited to get back to it.
So you performed with him for a couple of years, 2010, 2011.
Yeah,
then you
it was actually
away.
Almost like 12 months exactly.
Oh, was it 12 months? Yeah, so just depending on the calendar year, how that overlaps then. Why was now the time to return?
Yeah, good question. It seems like a confluence of different things, my availability to a certain degree as well, and just one of those moments where there's a turnover in the band. The group has had different personnel over the years, and Achilles Liarmakopoulos, who's been the previous trombone player, has done such a fantastic job in the group, and he's moving on to explore new things and take on a new chapter in his life, and so the seat was open, and I've kept my relationship going with the band over the last decade, or how many years it is, almost 14 years now.
Yeah.
And played with them a little bit over the last couple of years, and so it was an easy for me to slide in there, I think. Yeah.
Well, again, so excited for you to bring your sound back to Canadian Brass. And this is something we were talking about off air. I mean, it's gone through various iterations, apart from the ageless wonder that is Chuck Dallenbach, still holding it down on the tuba, just doing an incredible job.
Leading the charge.
Forever and ever. But I'm curious, I mean, what happens when you return to an ensemble that is so steeped in a history but also has these various iterations, different players coming, bringing their own sound to it? Does the group change, or does it sort of maintain its own sound? How do you approach that?
I think it's a bit of both. Yeah, there's certainly obviously new flavors that come in when new people join, and they bring different things to the music that maybe the group hasn't seen before. But Canadian Brass has such a strong following and such a strong branding and so much music in their repertoire and in their catalog. There's the group could go for another 55 years and still, there'd be so much to work through there. So, but yeah, absolutely. There's new players come in and we sort of build off the tradition of Canadian Brass and try to take it into the places that maybe it hasn't quite gone yet. So,
so excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
You're sporting a new Canadian Brass T-shirt,
Yep.
which is, I know, a little tough in radio, but it'll be up on the website later today. People can check it out there.
Great.
I'm curious, in terms of like what you're sporting, did you have to go and buy a new pair of white sneaks, or are you going to bust out the old ones from 2010?
We did get new shoes.
Oh, phew.
I'll say that the band, bought me that pair of shoes, so I didn't have to shell out for those ones myself. But we're, I guess we'll have to go buy and get some new suits again sometime soon, and get the get up going again.
Yeah, looking sharp as always.
Yeah.
And I also have to add, it's so nice to see another Canadian joining Canadian Brass,
Yeah.
right? And you come with this incredible resume. People, I'm sure, have read it when they've been on the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra website. I mean, just an incredible musician you are.
Thank
called the Wayne Gretzky of the trombone. I got to ask, Keith, where did that moniker come from? Who gave it to you? Do you remember?
Well, I do. Yeah, I believe it was actually Chuck who came up with the phrase.
Nice.
So you'll take that. But it was quoted in I believe it was the Ottawa Citizen back in 2010 or something like that, and the name stuck. What can I say? It's good PR, and I'll say I'm honored by the comparison. I'll leave it there.
So good. Well, excited for you to bring your slide back to CB, and just such a well-deserved title that is. I think, you're no stranger to the Classic 107 airwaves. You're no stranger to the music-making community here in Winnipeg. Of course, your incredible contributions to the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, and also an involvement with Systema Winnipeg, which you've been on to chat about before.
Yeah.
What does this mean for those commitments that you've made over the years in terms of joining this ensemble that performs round the world with this incredible touring schedule?
Sure, yeah. To a certain degree, I'm needing to step back from some of that other stuff I've been doing around town. I've been working for the Winnipeg Youth Orchestra program for a long time now, and which has been extremely rewarding. But yeah, the touring schedule is quite a lot, and I'm also on the WSO roster still. So I'm very happy and lucky to be able to keep playing in the orchestra, and so my performance schedule is going to be a little more full this year. So yeah, I'm taking a step back from some of the teaching and other things I'm doing.
But just doing so much more too, right?
Yeah,
and
totally.
Excited for you to share your sound with so many, new fans who are going to meet you for the first time.
Totally, yeah.
And of course, we're big fans of yours, so wishing you nothing but success, Keith. And thanks for being here this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks, Simon.
And big congrats on the news. We're going to end with a track from that award-winning 2011 album, Brahms on Brass. You might recognize one of the players on this one.
Yeah?
This is the Chorale Prelude number 10.
Beauty.